Ladies and gentlemen, happy 4th of July to my fellow Americans. And if you're not American and you're watching this, thank you. That's kind of cool. This is a 4th of July kind of themed Dark Souls 2 video. Because of the different phantom types and different covenants you can be in or different shades, I should say, you can be in Dark Souls 2. And over this weekend, I had a little bit of free time, and was making a few builds, playing through the game on PlayStation. I played a lot on PC, and like I said before, I bought these games on the summer sale, and making these builds and baiting with them. This one in particular has just been an absolute blast to invade and PvE with. This Silver Knight thing, there's the white of the red, white, and blue. If you put your red sign down or even invade in Drangleic Castle, you can be a part of the boss fight. Excuse me? That is my alleyway. That's, you take a left turn, that's my alley. You know? Like, bring it on. I kind of felt bad for this guy. He kind of looked completely hollow. I'm like, I'll step back, I'll let him fight the boss. I'm cool. But nah, this guy wanted it. He wanted all the smoke. I'm here for it. Let's do it, brother. Bring it on. Big gugs. GG. But that was kind of cool. And then here I am being in a nasty blue, but in a different way. This is the sparring of the Blue Covenant, or the Blue Sentinel Covenant. And this is also a different build. This is a Faith build. Like level 55, I think. I think I got matched up with someone a little higher level. I'm not entirely sure, but still, it was a really fun fight. And it also gave me the idea for this video because of the different shades you can be in this game. I was gonna do, instead of the Silver Glass Knight, do the Bell Covenant. But I didn't have any footage. I know I did invade in the Bell Tower with this build, but I don't think I saved any clips. If I find a clip or I get invasions in there, I might post one, because that's a really cool idea as well. But yes, one thing here too, I mean, there's this shield crossbow I'm using. Like, excuse me? It has block frames. It doesn't have very good stability, albeit, but it's a shield that shoots bolts. I don't think it shoots if someone hits you. I don't think I've ever tried to actually block with the thing. It's mainly just a crossbow in my offhand that can block sometimes, but still, it's a really cool concept. And it just looks freaking badass on my back as well. So, and also the thing about Dark Souls 2, you can just have a pyromancy flame and just bump that thing up. It does, and it just does damage. You know, I mean, Dark Souls 1 was the same way. Like, it didn't really take any stats to pyromance, which, yikes. But I mean, usually a strength build being a pyromancer is a little weird, but figured, you know, you have your tools, you use them. I don't really use it against boss fights. It's pretty much just for PvP. But this shield crossbow is just too fun. Look at that. Bah! Bah! See ya. And I guess this, if you've made it this far, obviously you've probably played Dark Souls 2. I mean, I don't know why you'd watch an invasion video if you didn't play Dark Souls 2. But man, it saddens me when, you know, people are like, oh, I'll play Dark Souls 1, I love it. Should I play Dark Souls 2? And everyone's like, nah, skip it. It's not that good. It's like, man, like, it's not great. Like, playing through the PvE to get this character made, it's kind of a hassle compared to the other games. I'm not gonna lie. The PvE is just, it's just a gank. It's a gank in every room, and hey, I live for the gank. I live for the gank. I don't know. That's just how I imagine people who love 3v1s or co-invaders who see another red in the world and are just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get this guy. I want a 3v1 at all times. That's what I do this for. You know. What was he even saying? Anyway, yeah, the PvE in this game is not very fun. you kind of need a bow or a crossbow, like this guy, to kind of drag things out and fight it one by one. It's a patience game. PvE in this is a patience game. Which I guess as an invader I'm still learning to kind of have, but you know, everyone's still got to be learning something. And I'm also, and with this invasion here, I'm also making a hex build. That's been kind of super fun. I can see why I run into a lot of hexers, because holy smokes, hex is a lot of fun to just blast through bosses with. It does a lot of damn damage if you get the Dark Blade off. And holy smokes, look at this guy. Look at that spell. That was kind of freaking nuts. He almost got me too. It was pretty cool. But yes, I think we were talking about like people who skip DS2. Yeah, people who skip DS2. It's you know, obviously, you know, you've made it this far, you've played it. I hope like you have someone in your group who is like, yeah, I skipped Dark Souls 2, and I don't know. It's I can see the point where people probably stopped. Where I would have stopped, and I think I did the original time, because I didn't play, or I played Dark Souls 1, then I played Dark Souls 2 up into the Ruined Sentinels, and then Dark Souls 3 servers came back online on PC, so I played Dark Souls 3 with the intention to come back to Dark Souls 2, and it didn't happen for a long time, but I did end up getting pretty far into Dark Souls 2 before downloading a save file. And then, I'll eventually buy the game on PlayStation, which I did, and here I am. But yeah, hopefully you can convince them. I mean, there's a lot of options. I mean, there's quite a few people still playing online. There's a lot of signs, like you could see here. I mean, this guy had the Gravelord sign down, but there was also a Sunbro sign in the Dragon Sanctum, which was kind of dope. And you know, there's a lot of options like Reddit. Which, I mean, Reddit's the reason I'm still invading in Dark Souls 2, is because someone was generous enough to drop me a stack of 99 orbs, which I've just kind of made a file for that I have 99 orbs on. So I just hope that they can at least say, oh, I played the game, I completed it, and it sucked dog shit. Yeah, I can see that. And where I stopped, and I think I didn't complete this, is the Ruined Sentinels, because it's a frickin' triple boss. And duo bosses are hard enough, but they have 3 of them damn things. And with my Hex build, it wasn't too hard. It still took me a while, mainly because I was low stamina, low health, because of how stat hungry a Hex build can be. But even then, that one's also just like picking off 191, being patient, walking around the arena. It's like, golly gee. It's definitely like the runs to the bosses are a pain, and some of the bosses are definitely not worth the run back. And the OST from the earlier part of the video, the Worshippers of the Dead, that one also a triple man boss, which is pretty much an invasion, which I didn't mind. That's kind of cool. You know, you're pretty much invading into a boss fight. You know, you have Habble monster, ranged option, and then like a attack guy. You know, that one's kind of just like son of a gun. That one, you're like, as an invader, you're like, okay, here we go. How many tries is this gonna take? You know, the Havel can heal, but the other 2 are practically phantoms. It's just like a test of your knowledge of an invader. They're that boss, so. It took me a while to beat that boss, but I did it. This fellow invader really took mercy on me, and I very much appreciate it. Very, very incredible, very cool stuff. Like, there's a lot of people still playing online, doing the online thing. I think that's what I'm trying to get at while I'm not scattering all around, is that there's people playing online, there's invaders, there's co-opers, there's Gravelord signs even, which is pretty neat. it's all out there. There's a lot of different ways to play the game too. You can look up, oh, here's an OP build if you just want to beat Dark Souls 2 and just crank through every mob and every boss. I mean, you can do that with every game, obviously, but it's still worth doing, I think. If you're a fan of Dark Souls 1 and 3, you know, you see kind of what they did in Dark Souls 2 wrong and how they perfected it in Dark Souls 3. Because I agree, Dark Souls 3 is better, and Dark Souls 2 is probably the weakest, is definitely the weakest of the trio, because Dark Souls 1 is really good. And I still don't know how I feel about Demon Souls. I really like Demon Souls, but I don't know where I'd put it on the list. Look at that camera. GG, fellow invader. I had a lot of fun. That's all I have to say. I appreciate y'all hanging out. Have a wonderful day.